Hello and welcome everyone to this episode of Scott Schilling Speaks. I'm Scott Schilling, I'm your host. Have a great friend with us here today, Viola Edwards. She's a co-founder of the Grit Academy. She's a consultant, a personal advisor, a philanthropist. She does breathing work, does so many different things. We're not going to have enough time to get into everything, I can tell. Viola, thanks for joining us here today.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure.
So let's share a little bit about the Grit Academy. And first of all, what does GRIT stand for?
Yes. Well, our GRIT is an acronym for Grow, Resources, Inspire, and Transform. To grow using our inner resources, that is the most beautiful capital we have, and we'll talk more about it. To be inspired, to honor life and live fully, breathing consciously, and also to inspire others as a model. And to transform with consciousness, because we wanted or not, changes will happen. Look at my white hair. It was not like this always. And changes will happen. So what about if we dance to the rhythm of the changes with consciousness? And also grit in the other sense means the driving force, the passion, perseverance, that inner motivation that we have to do things. So we love, because my husband always tell Viola's story and her grit. And then when we created this company with my sister, it come with this acronym and the name. It was very nice. And you would remember it, yeah?
Yeah, exactly. I teach a lot with acronyms, because if you remember the acronym, you tend to remember the material
Yes.
as well, right?
Yes.
So you might have noticed Viola's got a little accent. We're doing this all the way to the beautiful island of Cyprus. And it's just, you speak many languages. You're so worldly in so many things that you do. How do people really take the Grit Academy and start to utilize the information and work with you and Layla, your darling sister, to really improve themselves, to use the Grow, Resource, Inspire, and Transform?
Yes. Well, I have been since 1993 working with self-development, self-improvement. I pioneered in the early 90s of taking the emotional well-being and mental health fitness, as I used to call it, to the workplace. Because what I think is that the heart of every organization is human being, is the individual. And human being will take their emotions and their character and the way how they are wherever they go, and they will take those patterns wherever they go. So whatever we didn't heal, we didn't transform from our childhood pattern, from the first organization we have been in, which is our home, where we grow up, and from our carers or whatever was an authority in our life, whatever not still have from there, or tangled thing that we didn't solve, we will take it with us. Even when we think we're controlled, yes, we're controlled, but the need of being controlled will reflect in the way how we relate with others. So relationship is very important. Relational capital is the center of all what we're doing here, yes? So people like me who want to give great service to the planet and to others, but if we don't give that service to the self first, if we really don't reorganize, if we really don't restructure and understand that all of us, in one way or another, when we were kids or early teenage, there were things that happened in our life that we could not understand the abstract concept of it, like death. In my case, my dad died when I was 3 years old. A child at this age don't understand what's death. What I understood is that I never again saw my father. Yeah, how I interpret that, what death mean for me, what abandonment mean for me, how this episode in my life took me to another two migration. How many things I lost apart from my father, my first language, my first country, a social level, all that, how a child can interpret all that, how these emotional cysts, I call them, go and where. So So the idea is as soon as possible and in a simple but deep way, we can understand certain areas of our life, like the way how we think, the way how we interpret stress, the way how we attack or use our creativity, the way how, even the way how we long for things that sometimes is not our own longing, but something that we inherited or we copy from somebody else, where we put our energy and how the energy get lost in the process is very important for us as human beings to learn, to be able to recycle the energy, renew ourselves, to be able to have interconnection with others, with kindness, with love, but that's not possible if we are not kind to the self. And I'm in several programs because no one should be left behind, and no one should leave their pain alone. So this era is so important that there is no more stigmas about mental health. And I can many times go out and talk about how I heal addiction, or how I went through the process to recovery, or what had happened to me. And I can inspire you and maybe mentor you in some of the programs that really you come to get support, not only because you have problem, also because you have plans and you have creativity. So it's very important that you are accompanied. So we say that the bend of learning will be shorter. And what we mentors do is that we guide, we help, we accompany to help the person to get out from what we call the cognitive blindness, that thing that I don't know, or I don't know that I know. So it's very important mentorship. So me, I'm a transcultural psychotherapist and mentor, and this is what I do in different areas in my life, being as an individual, family, couples, or organization or groups. And I do all these things because now I'm 62 and a half and I start working at the age of 13. So this bio is a little bit big because of the years of working and studying I've been in.
Well, I think it's fascinating. I've heard it before, talked about it before, worked with other healers and teachers, of so many things that are impressed upon us before the age of 7 or by 7, like you say, the death of a parent at 3. You certainly are not equipped to handle or process that, but yet that experience sticks with you your entire life, maybe even not understanding that it's stuck with you. How would somebody know if something that happened in their early childhood, seven and younger, really still be sticking with them and causing them issue of some sort? Are there any telltale signs that
Well,
you can find?
sometimes it's from the same result in life, satisfaction. I always say in a simple way, are you happy in the way how you are? If the answer is yes, are you happy in the way how you become? Like at our age, Scott, are we happy of who we have become? Yes. The people who are important for you, I'm not saying the spouses, the children, whoever is important for you, could be the godmother, could be the name, anybody of meaningful attachment to you. Are they happy with you? Are they happy of that relationship? So if the answer is no, so maybe you will have to check yourself a little bit. And also when you have, that's one thing. And also when the answer about no, I'm not happy of who I am, for example, it will be interesting to go to some programs. And look, it's not about all of us, we have to go to the process of psychotherapy or the idea of taking medication. Some of us in some time of our life, we need them. But actually self-development program is more, you are learning how to manage, how to understand the world of emotion and the impact of the emotion in your life. And you will be able to manage, not to control, to manage, to be the leader of your life. And many times we don't know how to do it because we're emotionally ignorant about that fact. Yeah. So it's like being an alphabet. Okay, then we can learn how to read and write, even the basic thing, like how we do in a new language. Yeah, even the basic thing. So there is the other thing is the repeated pattern that we have, the people that we choose to work with or to love or to live with, and have the same answer that could take us to pain or to victimhood. Addictive behavior, like when, you know, when people have addicted behavior or have addiction. Remember, the less free people in earth is the person who have addiction, because they are not free to decide. It's the addiction that decide, the object of their addiction that decide for them, you know. So all these can give you hint about, oops, maybe I need to check up, maybe I need to learn, maybe I need to you know, see what can I rescue, you know.
Well, I think that makes sense. I have a great friend that works with the addiction to approval in sharing, you know, and he says, you know, many times we get accustomed to doing things not for ourselves, but for the approval of others, and how unbelievably controlling that could be. And I know that you work with a lot of addiction. How do you help people break through those addictions? I mean, is it the first step actually being willing to say I have it and then go from there?
Yeah, we say like there are like 3 steps. One is being aware, second is to accept, and then go to action. And the action depends of which stage of the addiction you are, the person is, and what is the available to me and what I can, you know. So there is different program according to that. I had come through chain smoking and alcohol, and I think it will be almost impossible to go out of those without the therapy and the breath work and the group therapy that I have done. And I am who I am today because of the fact that finally, after doing a lot of, I'm in love with psychology since I'm 11, you know. They used to laugh about me that I'm sleeping with those books to see if I really get all this knowledge when I was so young. And you know, asking questions to the adult that they couldn't understand, because I couldn't understand even the books I'm reading. And in my already at 17, 16, 17, I started doing going to some self-development group and learn. But really, I went to a deep process the day I become 30, because I understood that this duality I was living in, it will not be sustained longer. And I remember, even though by then I have stopped smoking, but with a lot of pain, because, you know, I'm determined, but I was so used to it. I was still suffering. I was not smoking, the action of smoking, but I was in my head smoking all the time. And started my process, psychotherapeutical process. And I understood there, Scott, how interesting. I understood that I've been grieving my father for all these years. And actually, I was not at all connected to life, because I was so much ready that something gonna happen and everything will change. But of course, my life, like my dad died when I was 3, and then at the age of 4, we changed country and never again went back to my first country because of government and because we couldn't live in the first stage. And then we went to the second country, and then such before a war that lasted 15 years, we migrate to another continent, yeah? And then I had to stop schooling and start working, and, you know, like hard work being migrant and not being able to go back. And all these things, I remember when I start developing and having my own money and being manager of a company, I could see the patterns of kind of always living in small apartment, furnished, like a little bit of an old car, like having a luggage ready, you know, because something gonna happen and I will have to. My pattern was, you cannot relax. As soon as you relax, something will take that away from you. Yeah. And then imagine a young person who's also studying or working and learning new languages and coming into a new culture with that such an in-depth pattern. Yeah. So it took me long years to be able to really let go of that, really come into an understanding and start trusting life, because my issue was I couldn't trust life. Yeah. So this is me. And maybe your situation is and that situation affected my relationship and the people I would use to relate with, like the men I would choose to relate with. It affected my working life. It affected many things in the way how I am. So when finally I find the unlock and start breathing life and learn how to breathe consciously, and went into the process of, also I was in a job for 21 years. I was working in different areas the last 10 years in things that I'm not very good at, and I didn't like, like I'm so bad in numbers, and I was in insurance company, and of course I become a manager, and I achieve so many things because I'm hardworking person, I'm responsible, I'm reliable. But where is the joy? Like longing for something that I couldn't have. So all that helped me finally to get what I want, to retrain. And finally, at the age of 34, I managed to transform my working life and become the person who I continue until now, and having centers for self-development and training other people. And then we'll create a system and be with other team to take that knowledge to companies and pioneer in that. And it has been such a joy. It's hard work, of course, but it's you feel it, it's also smart work, smart way how to you can work when you believe so much in who you are and what's your vision, what's your purpose in here in this earth. And this is the way how you and me we met, yeah, through a dear friend, Marie Diamond, that she said you two have to meet and do things together. And well, and this is what's my situation now in life. I'm ready. Like I have lost that nervousness. I exchange that, and I can live in a relaxed way. But I'm ready. I'm alert. I'm ready for the opportunities in life. I'm very thankful. It's a privilege to age. It's a privilege to be here and to recreate things. So I think I'm a person now that really very, how can I say, life. I have this life training of how all this trauma had teach me actually how to start again without losing time. And when the pandemic come and my business model all was presential, and I was already on the edge to create centers in 4 cities in the world, change. So immediately we transformed that, because already the life experience had taught me that things are not permanent, but now I don't dwell on it. I use it as an opportunity to recreate myself. While in the past, everything will be a more drama and adding to my trauma and all that. So it's a change in the way you see life and you live life.
Well, I think that's interesting, because I've always been a doer, go, figure out how to accomplish a task, go do the task, all those kinds of things. And again, I think that we were talking just before we went live about things being so business being done differently after or as we come through this pandemic, and we that the process that we used to do things we're not doing anymore. We're doing them differently. And I have not been one that just sits around doing nothing very well. That rest and really allowing the messages to come in, because it's always been go accomplish something. So it's interesting, the lessons learned by this pandemic, and having to adjust and look at yourself and right, and learn different things. So how do you in that kind of situation, how would you help somebody to say it's okay to set for a little bit and take information in and learn new things? How do we get to that point where it's so that we can truly transform along with the times and the things that are going on?
Yeah, I would say, the psyche is you have to imagine one of the most important organs that we have. Imagine it as an organ. It covers so many other things. And as you do your checkup annually, or as you, if you have an allergy, you will not live with it, because if you live with it, will go so bad. So imagine you treat your psyche in the same way. Imagine that you integrate your psyche into the other organs of your body, and to your skin, into your hair, into your nail, into all who we are, and then you take care of it. And when you find like something is not going well, or just make a checkup, or that will be very important. And the other thing is, we said in the psychotherapy method I use, that there is the actual conflict, that what will bring the client in or the patient in. But then there is the basic and inner conflict that we're going to find out together. So many times people will come because, lost my job, or my partner told me they want to separate, or I have problem with my child, or I find myself obsessing about the noise that the neighbor do, or my visa in this country finished and I don't know where to go. There is something that will bring the person in, and then together we will of course deal with that situation, and at the same time work together in a friendly, interactive way, and in a way, educative way, that the person can take concept. And because the idea is that in positive psychotherapy, that is something that I really admire deeply. Positive psychotherapy that was created in early 70s by Dr. Nosrat Peseshkian in Germany. And it's a beautiful, beautiful methodology. And Dr. Nosrat said, positive is coming from Latin, means positum. Positum means what is given, what we have there. And all of us, we are given talents, gift, resources to be able to deal with situation. Of course, it also means see the whole picture, not only the negative part of it. He says there is 3 principles to well-being. Yeah, that one, to understand what is positive. Second one, to get into a balance. Your balance is different than my balance. Yeah, to understand that there is different areas of life, but like body, instinct, relationship. The way how we relate is according to our tradition, reasoning, achievement, intuition, meaning of life, emotion. We have all these things going on in our life, and how we achieve a balance. Imagine that the day is, instead of 24 hours, is 100 unity of energy for all of us. Mm-hmm. Doesn't matter who you are. So how you distribute those energy is where your joy gonna come from, but also your problem gonna come from if you go too much into imbalance. So, learn how to go to balance, but life will take you out of balance. So learn and go back to balance, yeah? And then the third principle, he said, when life takes you out of balance, you use your positum. What is it? You use all your experience, your knowledge, your talent to go back to balance. But sometimes the challenges are bigger than that. When you couldn't with all what you have, you go to the principle of consultancy. That means mentoring, therapy, coaching, whatever is the case. And then you look for somebody that also in the process you can learn from. Yeah, right. Not only you can learn from. And then you will understand how to make that evaluation for yourself when, again, life take you out of balance, and you understand if you can deal with it, or you need to go to same consultant with another thing, or to another consultant. Yeah. And he said principle of consultancy, not as a consultant, as the British call the doctor, or as a business consultant, like a principle of the external support. So this is what I will tell you, many of us, we will need an external support. And nowadays there's so many books and so many YouTube videos, and you can, hopefully you can find the one that suit you the best. And remember, it's sometimes like doctors, you visit the first one, is not the one. It takes you some time to settle with somebody that understands each other, and same thing with the psyche. So, but this program of the Grit Academy are like a first a first caresses to your system to understand how's the way of thinking going, how you're using or not your qualities. What are your dreams? What are yours and not the one that you're putting energy on, but actually they are not yours. And how to achieve them. What is stress? What is not stress? And how to celebrate life by understanding. And after you do that first program that is 7 session, 2 hours a week, if you like it, then you can get into training and you can become a Grid Star mentor coach or coach mentor. And look, the first program is Grid Star. The second program is Grid Coach Mentor. And then there is another 100 hours of learning, developing, and you can learn how to give the first program to others in your country, in your language. So it's a kind of franchise model that we have. And if you want more, then we have a 400 hours program for breathwork mentor. Wow. And if you want others, if you are a business consultant and you would like to develop as this systemic consultancy, then we have other programs and so forth. This is an academy that we built with a lot of life, with a lot of love, very alive, and is in a way a continuation of a center that we used to have in Venezuela, my sister and I, in early 90s.
Absolutely amazing. It's amazing how fast time goes when we talk about these things. I wanted to get into breath work a little bit, and you said there's 400 hours of information on breath work. That's not a little conversation from that side, but all of this information and learning to work with you and your team and your mentors. I was doing a show the other day as I was the guest, and I said, so many people don't realize that the model has more than likely been created. There's no reason to reinvent the wheel. The wheel already exists. Find the right wheel, learn from the right mentors, find the people who are the experts, and they will help walk you through the challenges or situations in your life. So how do people get a hold of you through Grid Academy, or what's the best way for people to reach out to you to learn more?
Yes, well, website is gridacademy.co, and my personal website is Viola Edward, without S, violaedward.com, and through Be Connected, and in social media by my name or by Grid Academy Official, because Grid is, there is many other people who have this name, and I'm sure you will find me.
Well, we will do everything we can to help direct.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
And we will do another program just to talk about breath work and what does it mean, this training. And yes,
I would love to do that, because I want to learn more about that myself. I haven't learned enough about that, so I need that for myself. So thank you all for joining us here today. Viola, thank you for joining me. Thank you for joining us at Scott Schilling Speaks. We'll see you again tomorrow, exact same time. God bless.